And a very good day. Welcome to another edition of Catchin KARP Outdoors, the podcast that honors Minnesota's great outdoors. I'm Joel Niemeyer, and I'll be with you for the next 20 or so minutes, maybe a little under that right here. Today's guest, since we're kind of in between seasons, we're toward the end of the fishing season. We still got a lot of nice open water season left, but we're also here in a couple weeks getting set for the hunting season, which is a very popular time. A lot of, whether it's a deer or ducks or pheasants or whatever you go hunting for, we're in that time. So to talk about both fishing and hunting, we're going to bring in the DNR. And from the DNR, we got Brett Wiltrout from the Hutchinson office of the DNR to chat some fishing and some hunting. And our program being brought to you today by Benny's Meat Market in downtown Hutchinson. They're a family-owned and operated business. They're your old-fashioned hometown meat market that offers custom and wild game processing, in-house pepper sticks, sausage, and much more. And don't forget the summer grilling season. Visit bennysmeatmarket.com. Our guest today is from the DNR, Brett Wiltrout, DNR park ranger or officer, or I guess I've talked to you a few times. I guess I don't know what your official title. Conservation officer. All right. Ranger Brett, conservation officer, joins us here and talking about, we're just talking off the air here. It's been a interesting 2020,
to say the least.
To say the least. But it's also been a good summer for outdoors too.
It has. We, the Minnesota DNR, has seen a huge increase in fishing licenses, and it's going to be the same for this fall for hunting licenses. People are trying to get out and about, do something other than sit inside the house, which we have a program called No Child Left Indoors through the DNR, which is aimed exactly at doing that, getting people to start traditions with their family in the outdoors. And this was an unfortunate season and this issue, the COVID, but maybe it's going to spark that tradition in families and they can appreciate for years to come.
Well, we can hope. We're going to spend a lot of time on hunting, but I do want to talk fishing since we're kind of right in the right in the heat of it, because they're kind of getting on the way out. August is that time to get your last time in the water and all that. So overall, how has the summer fishing season gone for you guys?
It's been steady. Fishing, when we opened up in May for the walleye opener, it was down south. It was hitting good. It was really good. It was hit or miss in some of the lakes in the northern part of McLeod County, southern part of Meeker, but they've all been steady. So crappies were good in April and May. Walleyes were good in late May to June. We've seen a little bit of a dip off in the fishing in the area right now as Labor Day's coming in. We got a couple weeks till Labor Day, and then obviously school starting.
And has it been, and here in Minnesota, we like both our fishing and our recreational use for boating and for the water toys and all that. Have you seen more fishing, more recreational, or a mixture of both here this year? Great
mixture of both. Again, because of COVID, people are out and about. Boat sales and registrations are all up. People are obviously out and about. But I've seen a great mixture of both, and especially first-time boat buyers and boat owners and first-time fishermen. They're just starting to do something during this time where they have a little bit of a break to, with schools and sports being little off right now. So people are trying these new sports and these new outdoor activities.
And it's a good time to get, as you mentioned, No Child Left Indoors. It's a good time to get outside and explore maybe some things that if everything was open, maybe let's leave the water away and we'll go do this. But this is a nice time to introduce those kids.
Absolutely, and I there's hundreds of state parks in the state. I encourage everyone to go up to Gooseberry, Itasca, go down to Camden, Kylan, and go to Whitewater down in Rochester. Just get out and about, and Fort Ridgely down in our neck of the woods. Mm-hmm. Get out and about and enjoy what the state has to offer.
Now, when you do get out and about, I know I've been fishing in the Erie quite a bit, and every once in a while, I'll see one of your fellow coworkers out on Jenny. I think the last one was when my dad's boat got inspected and all that. Maybe talk about the invasive species hunt and how that's been going this year and where you guys have been at.
So this is a battle that the Minnesota DNR is at the front for AIS. So in this area, you hear about the zebra mussels and the milfoil, the Eurasian milfoil. It's here. It's slowly choking out ecosystems of our lakes. That is why it is so important that basically you put your boat in clean and you take it out clean. You need to make sure that I call it the CD3: clean, drain, dry, dispose. Okay, drain all the live wells, bait buckets, dispose of that bait in the garbage, not in the water, and then do an inspection for weeds around your boat. Because now we are all about educating the public, but in certain cases, we do issue citations for those violations. It's because we don't want that spread to continue to ruin the ecosystems of the lake of the state. And only 5% of the lakes in the state are affected by AIS, which is a small number. We want to make it smaller.
And you can correct me if I'm wrong. I would guess you guys don't want to issue citations. You're there, as you mentioned, to educate. I know the young lady that did our boat inspection, very nice lady, talking about fishing and how we did, and just having a conversation and making sure everything was right on the boat, and watching us, taking the plug out and different things like that.
Absolutely, professional and polite, and that's what our organization its foundation is professional, polite, and education. And that's our educators, our regional training officers, our local field officers. So that's we want to make sure that everyone is just educated on the rules and regulations.
Last topic on the water, you do have one big, we'll say, final summer bash. That we here in Minnesota, we like our Labor Day. We like to have the long weekend. We like to get out on the water. That also means you got to stay safe on that water too.
Absolutely. And still, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about not having enough life jackets in your boat. Life jackets are exactly that. They will definitely save your life. It doesn't hurt to have extra life jackets. Mm-hmm. That's kind of one of the things I suggest. And just making sure that you're being safe, especially with the kids. And you remember, any kid younger than 10 has to wear it whenever the boat is underway. If you're docked, or if you're anchored and you're swimming, they don't have to wear it, but obviously it's encouraged.
Yes, and if folks have any questions, I know the DNR website or different stores have different regulation booklets. There are a lot of places where there should be no excuse for somebody to not know the correct rules and regulations.
Especially in September on Labor Day, if you've had the entire summer to enjoy the lakes and the waterways and the rivers that our state has to offer. You're right. There should be no excuse at that point. But again, every situation is different, and majority of the time we are out there to educate.
Let's shift over to hunting now, because here in August the air starts to get a little cooler, and birds start to go south, and different things like that. So maybe we'll just start off hunting season in general. What are you looking forward to, or what are your anticipation for this hunting year?
A lot of fun. A lot of people getting out and about, and hopefully first-time waterfowl hunters, first-time deer hunters, first-time pheasant hunters. Whatever you can do to get out, like I said earlier, is obviously beneficial. But so September, October, November are busy hunting months, and it starts with dove opener on the 1st, morning dove opener on the 1st, and then early goose that very weekend, the 5th. And early goose is a big deal around here. It goes from the 5th to the 20th, and there's a lot of things that you need when you do go early goose. You really need 5 things. You need your small game license from Minnesota. You need your federal stamp. You need your Minnesota waterfowl stamp. You need your HIP certification, and then you need your early goose permit. So there are some things you need to pay attention in the waterfowl handbook if you do choose to go early goose hunting, but it's very, very it spells it out very well.
And I would guess all of those are on sale now at probably online at different various stores that offer the licenses.
Yep, and the thing about the federal stamp is you could actually get it at the post office too.
Okay.
State stamps you can get online. State stamp and all that you can get buy online. If you're in a pinch, you need a federal stamp. You can go online and buy Colorado's, because the federal stamp is the same throughout all 50 states.
Okay.
And Colorado is one state that does sell them online. Minnesota doesn't do that. Colorado does, but you can also go to the post office and pick it up as well.
As long as we were just on boating safety, let's shift over to hunting safety a little bit here. I would guess those are, make sure you know some of those rules and regulations too, whether it's wearing blaze orange if you have to, or camouflage, or know what you need to do.
So with duck hunters, you are more likely to die from not wearing your having a life jacket in the boat than from a firearm accident. So you have to have personal flotation devices in your duck boat for every single person that's there. And you got to remember that when you're duck hunting, it's cold water. So if you don't have that life jacket on and you go into that water, there's going to be that 2-3 seconds of that shock. And that's typically when people don't recover from that. So having a life jacket on and in the boat while it's moving before you get to cover is extremely important.
Any new regulations, whether from all the different hunting season, whether it's dove or deer or ducks or whatever, anything new that you want to highlight this year that people should know?
So there are some different limits with some of the ducks that I would encourage everybody to get their waterfall hunting regulation book. Now, sit down on the couch one night, take an hour, and go over. There's a green asterisk next to everything that's new. That's the big stuff that you need to look at. One of the things that we keep fielding questions on is firearm safety. There's kids that want to go hunting, but they're not. We are having classes right now for firearm safety. Mm-hmm. If you go to the DNR's education website, but for a while we weren't. So kids from 12 and 13, they can still do the online portion of it, but they could get an apprentice validation, which means they can bypass the firearm safety and still go out hunting with dad and brother and things like that.
Sure.
And then anybody over the age of 14 was given the option to do a virtual field day.
Okay.
And you can get all that information on the website, but then you'd have to do the online portion, then a virtual field day. And then anybody over the age of 16 doesn't actually have to do the field day, the physical field day, but obviously it's strongly encouraged.
Now, if and you can clarify here, so let's say someone's 32 years old, haven't ever gone hunting, but because of COVID, they're thinking, hey, maybe I might want to try this. Do they still need to do the firearm safety, or can they just go buy a license and go shoot some ducks or deer?
So anybody born after December 31st, 1979 has to have firearm safety. Now, if you're over the age of 16, you do not have to do the field day. So basically all you would have to do is pay $20 to go on firearm safety online website, take a couple hours, learn about firearm safety, and then you have your certificate. Now there's a little bit of there's a validation process. You have to go to the state and you have to say, hey, state of Minnesota, I have my certificate. Here's my certificate. You have to notify us that you have your certificate. Then you can go out and get your small game. You can go and do what you need to do. But a lot of people don't realize if you want to go out state, there's some places out state that require everybody. It doesn't matter if you were born before 1979, after 1979. If you want to hunt in their state, you need to have that certification. But Minnesota requires anybody born after December 31st, 1979 to have one.
Okay, and that brings up another question that I guess I'd never really thought about until just now. Let's say that same person wants to go to South Dakota, not going to go hunting in Minnesota at all, but he lives in Minnesota, wants to go in South Dakota. Does he need a Minnesota license too, or just whatever they need in the state he's going?
Correct. Wherever he's going. So the state of Minnesota, so let's say you live in South Dakota for many years and you move to Minnesota. Do you have to take a Minnesota firearm safety course? No. Anything that's equivalent to the state of South Dakota, if the state of South Dakota says you're safe handling guns, Minnesota accepts that. And I would assume it's vice versa as well.
Okay. Speaking of hunting seasons, I know archery deer is always whether it's firearms or whatever. Deer is kind of the season in Minnesota, maybe along with pheasants and duck. Those are the kind of big three. What's coming up for the deer? Archery first, I think.
September 19th. September 19th is archery deer, and if you shoot deer archery, it's either or. You can shoot a buck or you can shoot a doe. Down here, we're typically lottery areas. Down by the river, we got a couple Hunter's Choice, and then we got a couple intensive and managed to the north of us. And then if you go to the cities, it's obviously unlimited for the amount of deer. I strongly suggest people understand the area that they're in and know, because down in the lottery and the Hunter's Choice area, bonus permits, you can't use those. Now you go to the cities, you can use them a lot. Or you
Sure.
go to an intensive or managed area, you can use a bonus permit. Down here, you can't. So you really need to be vigilant of the zone that you're in. But if you get a tag, a Minnesota 2020 deer tag, that's good throughout the state. You can go anywhere in the state and use that tag. You don't have to just stay down here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, depending on what gun you want to use, that's different. There's a shotgun zone and a rifle zone. But if you have a deer tag, you can go up to the rifle zone, and you can come down to the shotgun zone, wherever you want in the state of Minnesota.
I would guess shotgun is probably your most popular deer hunting, but how are the other numbers for rifles, for archery? Are they going up too, or how are those?
You've seen a big uptick in archery. Majority is firearms, obviously, in the state of Minnesota. I mean, you got 500,000 people out on opener of deer season, November 7th this year. So firearms is the most popular, but archery, you're seeing a big uptick, and you're seeing just the technology in archery is phenomenal for deer hunting. So it's been a big increase in archery.
Now, do you, to go back to the question about safety, do you need a training class for archery, or is that just along the lines of learning your craft anyway, that you're going to learn how to be safe?
Yep, from 12 to 15, you do need that firearm safety as if you're going to be a bow hunter, if you're going to be an archery hunter. So yeah, you still go through it, and you never know when you're going to want to pick up a firearm,
True.
A rifle and a shotgun, and say, you know what, I'm going to go out and I'm going to firearm hunt this year. Just take it. You can never go wrong by taking it.
Okay. And then the last topic, well, we kind of mentioned it a little early on, but we'll wrap up here. COVID-19, obviously not going away yet. We hope it goes away as quickly as possible, but hasn't gone away yet. How much has it affected you guys at the DNR? Because I assume a lot of your workplaces are outdoors, which aren't always affected by some of these regulations.
Right. Well, we have, our upper administration wants us to obviously social distance, and we're not taking licenses from people. We'll ask to see them from a distance. We'll ask if you could read off parts of it, which tells me that it is a valid license. So there are different ways that we can kind of tiptoe through this COVID-19 fishing /boat /hunting season. But just all I would say is be as safe as possible. Continue to social distance, whether you're at the boat landing or in a duck slough, and just be vigilant of the safety requirements that are out there right now.
And overall, if you're like probably both of us, just enjoy being outdoors. In a few months, we're all going to be begging for some of this weather back, because there'll be a blizzard coming through.
It's the joys of living in Minnesota. It's the wonders of 4 seasons. Yep.
Sounds good. Hey, we appreciate you coming in here today, and we will chat with you again sometime.
I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you again to Brett for stopping on by here and chatting with us. Hope you all enjoy the upcoming hunting season, and enjoy the what's left of the fishing season. And we hope you join us again next time right here on Catchin' KARP Outdoors. You can always check out past episodes at the website, kduz.com, KARPradio.com, or at KGLB1310.com. Hey, introduce a kid to the great outdoors, and don't forget to always keep that line in the water.